So I've decided to go back to a monohull.
Yep, this is a 2001 Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 37. I bought her in Lefkada, Greece, and her previous owners had her well set up and capable of cruising around the world. She's a 2-cabin boat, which means she has a fairly large single head. In this video, I'm going to give you a tour and then launch her in the water to get ready to sail the summer season in Greece. So with that, let me introduce you to Sailing Yacht Carmel.
But just temporarily. I am still getting the catamaran, but it's not going to be ready for a few more months. So I came to Greece and bought this, 2001 Jeanneau 37. I really loved sailing in Greece when I was here last year, so I wanted to come back and do some more sailing. And I knew it'd be a while, even on the new boat, before I got back into the Med, because that's not the direction I plan on going around the other world. I plan on going the other way. So I figured, why not just come to Greece? So this boat is more than 20 years old. I'm just gonna be straight up front. I paid $65,000 for it. I've done some improvements already. I'm gonna do a few more. And my plan is just to sail it around for the summer, and then towards the end of the summer, I'm just gonna turn around and sell it again for hopefully exactly what I paid, plus maybe what I've got into it. So doing some upgrades. And yeah, get to sail around for the summer. So I'll give you some more information about our little tour and all that of her, but first I've got to get her ready to go in the water. I've already had some work done by Argo Yacht Services. Great guys, just met them a few minutes ago, but they've been doing some work for the stuff I couldn't do while I wasn't here. And then they're about to pick her up and put her in the water. So I'm going to get to that, and then we'll give you a tour once we get her set away. Today's the big day. It's going in the water. I got a lot of stuff to do here. I'm scheduled to go in about 2 hours, a little less than that. Still got a lot to do. Like, you know, I've already started setting up lines. I need to uncover all the controls and everything, and I just was checking. There's only 4 fenders plus a 1 ball fender on this boat, and Med mooring down here, you need at least probably 4 or 5 fenders per side. So I'm gonna go to the Chandelier real quick and buy some more fenders. I'd love to give you a tour right now, but I think that's gonna have to wait till I get to the marina, because I got a lot of stuff to do, and I got to do it before they come to pick me up. So all right, let's do it. I will say, like, I'm really close to this boat over here. So they don't use a traditional travel lift, I believe, for a boat this size. They use like the trailers, which works, but I mean, I'm wedged in here, I guess. These guys know what they're doing. I'll figure it out. Okay, so I got new fenders, new lines for the fenders, and I pulled the anchor almost all the way in. I guess I don't know why, but they have you take the anchor and chain on the ground here. Maybe, I don't know why, but anyway, so I pulled it mostly back up. I haven't pulled it all the way up because there's a car kind of in the way, and I don't want it to swing and like hit it. So I guess when the guys get here to tow me, I don't know if that's them coming now, but there is a trailer coming this way, but it's only 11:30. I'm scheduled at 12, so it might be a little bit yet, I don't know.
They were actually coming to pick me up early, so I had to hurry to get things ready.
I've only ever seen this done with a travel lift, never with a trailer. But I guess to get into some of these tight spaces, they need a trailer, because I don't think a travel lift could fit a lot of these spaces. I was wondering how they do this. They keep the last brace on, I guess, and then get everything else situated, then take the last brace off. So it's just sitting on the keel and only using 2 braces, or 3, I guess, in the back to keep it steady. I guess it works.
The guys were pretty efficient and had it ready to move in no time.
Well, I've got to get ahead of them here and park my car, but I'll get some video. I've been putting it in the water. Well, that makes sense now. So I thought they were just going to lower the trailer into the water. I've seen them do that like in places like French Polynesia where they don't have a travel lift, but they have the travel lift pick it up off the trailer, and then the travel lift drops it into the ocean. That's better for a lot of reasons. Probably a little safer, less likely to tip over like a trailer going down a hill. You never know. But also, it doesn't, your trailer now will never get seawater on it. Because like the trailers that I've seen do it, you know, they have to submerge and you get seawater on them. It's just really bad for them. So that's kind of cool. So while I do have to take the extra time to like have it pick up on the trailer, it takes like 3 minutes. These guys know what they're doing. But it allows them to put, using the trailer, put more boats in a smaller area. Plus, you know, now the trailer, as soon as they disconnect, I go get another boat and start all over. Which makes it pretty fast, probably. All right, and we're off. Where am I going? I don't know where I'm going. All right, autopilot's working. Everything's working. No, the engine's not leaking. It's putting water through it. All right, so I got about 7 miles to go down to Lefkis. There's a bridge that only opens every hour, and so no sense in rushing because I can't get there before the next bridge and I want to sit there and wait for 45 minutes. So nice leisurely stroll down there. Hopefully make the 2 o'clock bridge though, because the wind starts picking up about 2, which single-handing this thing docking might be tricky. Especially, I mean, normally I'd be fine, but med mooring, you know. All right, so far so good. Engine's purring right along. We got about 5 miles down to Lefkis. Man, I mean, it'll be nice when I get the Bimini up and the Dodger up, you know, block the wind and the sun, but, you know, it's just one little trip down there. And this thing's so filthy dirty, I need to clean it. And it's been sitting uncleaned for, I don't know, 6-7 months. But, yeah, I'm ready for it, ready to kind of make it a little more homey. Well, unfortunately, the wind's picked up a little. That'll make docking, I don't know, hopefully in there it's not as windy because it's going to be protected by the land a little bit. Out here it's, I don't know, I'm just guessing 12, 15 knots. Nah, 12. But, you know, it's the first time single-handed docking, med mooring this thing. I'd prefer no wind, but whatever, I'll make do. So I've already got my line set up and coiled and ready to throw off the back, untangled, so that I can throw them out to the guy he can tie onto the dock. And then I should be able to just motor forward and then, like at idle, and then it should just pin us up against the boat next to us while I pull the sand line in. Hopefully, that's the plan anyway. I should have turned the camera on while I was doing it, but I was here 30 minutes before the bridge opens. So for the last 10 minutes, I've just been playing with the boat, reversing, going forward, you know, turning, you know, prop walking it and all that kind of stuff just to see how the boat handles. So it's actually a floating bridge, and I think the whole bridge just kind of swivels out of the way or something. I'm not sure. Yep, it's got like a little big bow thruster on, I don't know, the end. It kind of pushes it back and forth. It's on a swivel. Kind of a cool idea, I guess. Probably a lot lower tech than having a drawbridge or something, or yeah.
I lined the boat up to reverse down the fairway to my slip. It was actually a fairly narrow path through the channel, but it did help that the slip next to me was empty. I tossed my line to the dockhand, he ran it through a ring on the dock and then threw it back to me, which I tied onto my cleat. Then with the boat hook, I picked up the sand line the dockhand was helping with and then ran forward with it. I pulled the sand line tight and tied it onto the cleat.
Well, it's starting to look like a boat here. I got the Dodger and the Bimini up, and I didn't even realize it has a full enclosure on this thing, so when the weather's kind of nasty, that'll be good. Keep you nice and warm and dry in here. Working on the mainsail now. There's not much wind in the morning here, so getting it done early. Oh man, one thing. This little piece of wood down here. I have no idea what it does, but I've jammed my toe on it so many times. Pointless. But that's the thing about a new to you boat, is that you don't know where all the toe jammers are, and man, just, I mean, you gotta learn by doing it, right? So now working on the mainsail. It's a little difficult doing it single-handed because I need to feed it through and pull on the line, but getting it done anyway. So my full goal will be to get the sails on today, and then I got to start working on the inside, getting it all cleaned up, you know, new bedding and stuff like that. So, and of course I got the FMC Starlink system up. So this is the marine version. You know, it'll work at sea, and I'm getting like 200 megabits down and 20 up, so that's pretty good. And, you know, even considering there's a little bit of stuff on the way. If you're interested in that, so the FMC, they can basically tailor any Starlink system you want. They can do it, you know, a flat rate for however many gigs, or they can do it by the gig and all that. I have a link down in the description that you can check them out, because the marine version, you know, if you were to just get it from Starlink, it's pretty expensive. That marine version that Starlink is, they're more for like big yachts that's going to be using 5-10 terabytes a month of data. You know, we're not going to be using that much. The average cruiser might use 100 gigs, 200 gigs of data a month, unless you like have a job or something where you do use a lot of data, like myself. And so, you know, you can do FMC plan, you know, for 100 gigs for a pretty reasonable price, and it works worldwide in motion and all that, and it has a 5G connection. So, and I'm not sure if this is actually correct, but I think if it's using 5G to connect instead of Starlink, then basically it doesn't count towards your data. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's what it is. But anyway, all right, let me get the mainsail up.
As I raised the main and slid it up its track, I had to install the battens.
All right, got the main and the lazy jacks and lazy bag all set up. Wasn't really too hard. Had to redo that several times. Anyway, other than that, it went pretty easily. The mainsail is maybe a little more tired looking than I thought it was going to be. You know, I'm only doing one season in this boat, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But, you know, other than that, it might be time for a new mainsail. The Jeannea still looks okay, but we'll see. So, Precision Sails, hey, I'd be calling you up if... well, if I was keeping this boat long term, definitely would. Well, so I got the Jeannea up. I had to run the halyard for the Jeannea back to, on a turning block back to the cockpit, so I could use a winch to winch it in, because I just couldn't lift it from the mast. I don't think it's really designed to, because there's not a turning block for it. I had to use a turning block from a reefing line to do that, but now I just got to hook up the sheets on this, and the sails are pretty much good to go. All right, it's a bit of a mess back out here because I pulled a bunch of stuff out of storage, but I went and picked up a new dinghy and motor. Well, a used dinghy and motor, because the boat came with this. I mean, that thing surely has to be on its last legs, if it'll even start right now, and only 3.5 horsepower. And the dinghy it came with was only like a 4 or 5 foot, like a 5-foot dinghy. So this is an 8-foot dinghy and a 6 horsepower motor. So it is a inflatable Zodiac, you know, with an inflatable floor, inflatable keel, all that stuff. So it is what it is, though. It's pretty light. It can't be more than about 60-70 pounds. And then the motor is 50 pounds. And I know it says 4 horsepower on it, but it's the same engine between the 3, 4, and 6 horsepower motor. It just has a different carburetor. So they've changed out the carburetor and put a 6 horsepower carburetor in it, so now it makes 6 horsepower. Which 6 horsepower for a dinghy this size is adequate. With 2 people, you can get up on plane most of the time. But, you know, for tooling around here, it'll do what I need. So now I'm going to inflate it, see if I can get it hanging from the davits, take that engine off. So these davits are not really meant to have the motor on the dinghy. So I'm going to take that motor off, see if I can give it away or do something with it, put this motor on there, and then inflate the Zodiac and test it to the davits. All right, got the dinghy all set, and without having to duck too low, I can still walk under it when it's up, so not too bad. It'd be kind of annoying having to drop the dinghy every time I wanted to come into a dock. Now, I don't know what the time was. It's already happy hour, so I need a beer. Well, it's a bit of a mess in here. One thing's led to another, and I've decided to replace the batteries. They're a bit older anyway. They're AGM, so they should have lasted a while. I mean, they have, but they're pretty small. I'll pull them out and I'll show you in a minute. I mean, they can't be more than 100 amp hours each. And I mean, as much power as I use, because I edited for 40 minutes just on the batteries to see how it would do, and it brought the charge down like more than 20%. So I'm like, okay, I mean, that's not going to work. So digging in here to get the batteries out. They're behind the generator, so not the most convenient place, but it is what it is. Well, they're actually 150 amp hours. So they are bigger, but they're old. They're 5 years old. They need to be replaced anyway. So, and I think I can fit bigger batteries in there than they had. If I can get a couple 200s in there, that'd be great. So I'll go to the store, see what they got.
I replaced the two 150 amp hour batteries with two 240 amp hour batteries. And yeah, they're heavy.
Okay, hard part's over. I mean, those batteries are, I don't know, they're probably more than 100 pounds each. I don't know. There'll be a number popping up right here. I'll look that up. It's that fucking heavy. All right, now it is a time to give you a proper tour of the boat that I've got it nice and clean-ish and set up to go. So I've got all the sails on, all the lines set, everything's pretty well set to go, cleaned up. There's a little more work to do, but it's pretty well good. I'll start off at the bow here like I always do. Windlass, it actually has a remote control, so you can work the windlass from the back too, which is nice because if you're trying to med moor this thing single-handed or short-handed, the guy driving can be letting out the chain too for that. The sail, the Jeanneau is actually in pretty good shape. The mainsail probably is in its last couple years, needs to be replaced somewhat soon. I do have a new spinnaker being built right now by Precision Sails, so that'll be cool when we get that. No bowsprit on it, but I can make do with what we got. And it does have a rock knot anchor on there and plenty of chain. It looks to be 3/8 inch chain, which is nice. A lot of these smaller boats have the 1/2 inch chain, or sorry, the 1/4 inch chain, and this is 3/8, so it's pretty nice. And lots of chain. I don't know how much, but it's a good amount, probably 100 meters or something like that. And keep in mind, guys, kind of at the end of this season, I'll be selling this boat, and it's really well set up for cruising the world. Water maker, generator. I just put new batteries in it. About the only thing I would need to do on this boat if I were going to go sailing around the world is put a new main on it. I mean, it's got a full enclosure bimini, and it's pretty good shape, pretty new. It's got the full enclosure to go around if it's like cold, but then it's got these shades that'll go around too for when you're in the tropics. Pretty well set up. I mean, honestly, this boat's great. It has a hot water heater. It's good to go for cruising around the world. And I'm going to sell it for what I've got into it. So I bought it for $65. I put about $6 into it so far, and then I'm having new mattresses made and new cockpit cushions made, so whatever that ends up being. So it'll probably end up being around $75,000 for a boat that's ready to go around the world. So keep in mind that it's got solar, everything. So all right, let's continue the tour. So lazy bag is in decent shape. All the lines run aft. It's got single line reefing, which is good and bad. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but kind of the way they have this run, it looks like it might work pretty well. A lot of times, you know, single line reefing is just, there's so many blocks it's got to go through that the tension's really hard to do, but this one seems okay so far. I mean, I haven't actually tried to reef it yet, but all right, let's move back to the cockpit. So pretty comfortable cockpit, even when it's been raining. I've not gotten wet here, and you can put the full enclosure up if you're sailing in the rain, keep you nice and dry in here. And like I said, you know, it's all single point reefing and everything, so all your lines are back here, so you don't have to go outside the cockpit to do anything, which is great for a world cruising boat. I'm having new cockpit cushions made for all the way wrap around, so that'll be nice. The helm station is right here. It does well. It's the chart plotter's pretty old. but the autopilot works well. And what else is there? Oh, you got your multimeter here and all that. So yeah, works well. It's just, you know, maybe put a new chart plotter in it if you get it, but other than that, it's pretty well to go. The davit system on it is pretty nice. It's got a lift for the motor. I've upgraded both the dinghy and the motor. It had like a little 1.3 meter Talamex and a 3 horsepower. I got this newer Zodiac. A lot of the cool stuff on the back. It has, you know, your lifelines and stuff like that. Plus then for med mooring or putting out a stern anchor, it's got this little rolling line system here so that you can put that out. A barbecue grill and a place to attach your stern anchor. And the davits are high enough that you can actually walk underneath the dinghy when you're here at a, you have to duck down a little, but you know, you can still do it. So you can come into a marina and not have to drop your dinghy and able to get on and off the back. And then of course the solar on top, which has 340 watts. The lazarettes on either side are really big. On the starboard side, it's a pretty good size, but you know, that's above the aft cabin. On the port side though, it goes all the way down to the hull, so that's a really deep lazarette. You can't tell because it got so full of crap, but I can go down there and stand up inside. So a lot of storage space in there, and the hot water heater is, and the holding tank is forward to that, so easy to get to. And the hot water heater works really well on this thing, so pretty nice. Okay, let's go down inside the salon. Okay, down inside your salon, you know, it's got a lot of space for only a 37-foot boat. I mean, my first boat was a CNC 37. I think this is a little bit wider than that, and definitely a better use of space. You know, nice galley as soon as you walk down in here. With a really deep refrigerator and freezer. Works pretty well. I need to keep that open actually, so I'll just leave that open. Works really well. And then a gimbaled stove right next to it. Normally it wouldn't have these cushions on it. So these were the cockpit cushions outside, but I'm having new ones built. So when the new cushions arrive, I might keep these just for lounging around on the deck or something, but we'll see. Lots of storage underneath the sink for everything. And also, kind of a little bonus here is that it has a built-in freezer that comes with it. It's one of these, what is it? I don't know. It's one of those, it's kind of like an Ingle or whatever, but it's nice having a dedicated freezer. Lots of storage here for the galley as well, for cups and plates and whatever you want to put in here. It is nice having that, and then there's storage all along the side here. The engine access is actually pretty easy. These stairs fold down, and you got a 40 horsepower Volvo Penta. All your buses and everything right here for connecting everything, pretty easy to get to. And then around the side in the aft cabin, you can actually get at it pretty well too. The little aft cabin, the cabinet kind of comes apart. You can get access to the back of the engine pretty easy as well. And so it is a 40 horse Volvo Penta. Which will get you up to speed pretty good. I wasn't pushing it hardly at all on the way here just because time-wise there was no need to go fast because I had to wait for a bridge. But I was doing 5.5 knots on 1500 RPM. So if I bumped up 2000, easily doing 6.5 knots. Coming forward here, a nice little hanging locker for, you know, sailing jackets and life jackets and all that stuff. Chart table coming forward. I've got it full of my stuff right now, but I normally have just my laptop. This would be my editing station where I do my work, and my monitor. I'm going to monitor all the systems here. You know, it's got this smart gauge that'll monitor both battery banks. You know, it's not it works really well though. I mean, it tells me about percentage and voltage and everything like that. So it tracks, you know, the watts in and out. So it gives me an accurate reading. You know, if you wanted to upgrade that to a little more modern thing that connects to your phone or something, you can. But you got access to everything you need right there. Coming here, it has a nice little settee. There's storage underneath these seats. That's where I keep the tools and spares and stuff. More storage on this side. And then across from that is your dining table. Storage all the way around underneath the seats. And then, you know, nice little place for hanging out. Other than the fact that this boat is extremely well set up, you know, generator, davits, you know, solar, water maker, all that stuff, is that it's a 2-cabin boat. On a boat like this, you don't need 3 cabins. How many times are you gonna have people in here? So because it's a 2-cabin boat, not only is that aft lazarette really deep for storage, is that you get a nice big head, which is great. And so the toilet and shower is on one side. You can close that door and keep the rest of the bathroom dry. And so you could have 2 people in there doing whatever, somebody taking a shower and somebody brushing their teeth, whatever. But it's a nice big head. There's a seat that folds down in the shower, and then like dry compartments for keeping your, you know, toiletries and stuff like that. I just really like having a really large head on a boat instead of jamming it full of cabins. I mean, I get it on charter boats that you want to put as many cabins as you can, but I really like this setup. All right, coming back into the aft cabin, part of it's been taken up by the big box. There is actually the generator. So, you know, we've lost maybe a quarter of the bed and turn that into a generator. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could still fit 2 people back in there, but really it's just a 1 cabin room. But I mean, you know, for, you know, just a weekend or a week-long trip, you could put 2 people in there and be all right. But it does still have a pretty good, you know, storage space, a little hanging locker and shelving and all that, and a couple different windows to let you get a breeze going through there. In there also is the inverter charger and the battery controls and everything. I am gonna build. I'm gonna get some sound insulation foam and kind of put a door in front of that, because we probably will be having a crew member on board. We definitely will. And that'd be really annoying, is having that inverter charger fan come on and off all the time. So I'm gonna put that on there so it hopefully kind of kills some of the sound. And so back behind the batteries, back behind the generator, I just installed 2 new batteries. So it had 2 150 amp hour batteries. Now it has 2 240 amp hour batteries. So I went from 300 amp hours to 480. So more than 50% increase, and they're brand new. The other ones were about 5 years old. It's about time to replace them. So, I mean, just having a generator on this boat like that is pretty unique. Having that much space to do that and have a generator makes you a little bit more off the grid and self-reliant there. So last thing I got to show you is the master cabin, and then we're done with the tour. And I remember filming it, but I'm not sure if I talked about it. In the cockpit up there under one of the aft seats is a transfer switch, so you can transfer between the generator or shore power, and so it's nice to have, as you can have it either way there. All right, coming forward here is the master cabin. On this size of boat, unfortunately, a master cabin pretty much always is a V-berth, unless you get like a center cockpit or something like that. This mattress is junk. I'm having a new one made, but there is, you know, a decent amount of space in there. I've slept in there the last 3 or 4 nights. Not bad. It has a lot of storage. Has a really big hanging locker on one side and shelving, and then on the other side it has more drawers and shelves and a lot of good space. Plus then along the sides you can store everything. So not bad. And then underneath the bed there's a little bit of storage for like towels and stuff like that. And then a hatch right above, so you get plenty of airflow, and it's got a little windscreen or a sunscreen that you can put over there to block the sun if you want to sleep in a little bit. So that is it. This is Carmel. She is a 2001 37-foot Jeanneau Sun Odyssey. Pretty excited to go sail her around Greece. So at the end of the summer, I plan on selling her for what I've got into her. So I'm guessing that'll be around $75,000. And you know, for that kind of money, you can have a world cruising boat ready to take you around the world. I'm already packed up here. I am headed back to Athens to go meet up with Stephanie, and we're gonna get on a plane, and we're flying to the Seychelles to go sailing in the Seychelles on a Lagoon 52. Pretty cool stuff. So be sure to click that like and subscribe button. And man, I'm excited about sailing in Greece the rest of the summer. Well, I told you she'd be back.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Ben.
Where are
Steph's back. Tell a friend.
Where are we?
We are in Greece.
Where are we going?
Oh, where are we going?
Where are we going? We're going to the Seychelles.
Woo! And if you don't know where that is, like me in the beginning, it's East Africa. It's just very north of Madagascar, but it's a beautiful island.
Island group.
Yeah, it's an island group. Yeah.
So we have a couple different boats we're going to be sailing on in the Seychelles. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We have some familiar faces from the past you're going to see, and some new faces you're going to see. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So just wait and see who's coming.
So be sure to click that subscribe button and check us out as we are on our way to the Seychelles. We're already packed up. Our flight leaves at 2 a.m.
Yes, but we're gonna not actually a big time difference from here to there.
Yeah, it's
so
only
it'll be
1 hour.
nice. So we're gonna.
All right, let's go.
On our way.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video in the Seychelles.
And don't forget, you're beautiful. I don't know. Cut that out.
Yeah, right. Like that's getting cut out.
No. Stop. Boy, get up.
All right.
We're going to the Seychelles. Oh.